How you doing? Coming to you from Kreilin, Moldova. We're about 20 minutes outside of Chisinau. Right behind me is actually the Dniester River. The Dniester River is one of the borders of Ukraine, and right across the water right there, the land over there, that is actually Transnistria. And if you're not really familiar with Transnistria, right now they're in huge conflict with Moldova. They're actually part of Moldova, the Republic of Moldova, but they're backed economically and politically by Russia. Ever since the USSR split in the early 90s, 1991 to be exact, since 2001, Transnistria has tried to build their own economy, their own political regime, and they've been, you know, not at arms, or there hasn't been any wars between Moldova, the army of Moldova, and the army of Transnistria, which is backed by Russia, and they call it the 14th Army. But as of right now, it's a place where, you know, I'm not allowed to go. I'm absolutely the last person that's supposed to be over there right now. Russia's pretty adamant about keeping Americans and any type of Western thinkers out of Transnistria. So a Moldovan, a Ukrainian, a Romanian, they can make it over there, and you know, they can show their passport and get in. But as far as there being any sort of economic or political relationship, it's a very gray area right now. It's very tough, and I know just for my own safety, and even what the people I've come camping with have told me, is just stay out of there. But just wanted to talk about the camping trip. I'm actually here in Kreilin. We just went through a bunch of caves that are called the Perestra Surprinzilor, and that's the cave of surprises. And this cave was, not only was it beautiful, and you'll see pictures, and I'm going to post pictures, but it was the most intense cave, I don't even know what you call it, like a cave climbing, cave crawling experience I've ever been through. If you're claustrophobic, you would not have liked any part of this whole experience, but it was tough. I mean, my body's hurting right now. If you can see my pants, just kind of covered with dirt from head to toe. But it was a lot of fun. We were in there for 5 hours. It's about 60 degrees, and I was wearing this, so it's pretty cold. It's completely dark, so all I had was my LED light on my cell phone, and that was the only thing that was directing me through. I actually took my cell phone when we were going through, and I'd put it in my bandana, kind of like that. So, hold on, if I could see if I can do it. Something like that. So as I'm walking, I'm like kind of flipping it up and turning it and everything like that. So it was awesome. Some great photos and just a great experience to be with all of these Moldovans. It's just me and about 13 other Moldovan people here, and we're just getting to know each other and, you know, building kind of this this bond. And a couple of them I work with over at the Economic Council. So they invited me to come out, and it's just been a great weekend. Last night was also pretty rough. We all slept in tents, but you know, normally you'd bring sleeping bags, you'd bring pillows, you might bring an extra sweater, like who knows, but this is what I was wearing last night. And when I got into the tent, you know, I was expecting a full setup, obviously, and it was bare bones. It was nothing. It was just the tent. So I pretty much slept on rocks, dirt, grass, and this is what I had to sleep with my bandana. So over the course of the night, I just pulled my bandana down and wore it over my face, kind of like a gangster, and just kind of kept my warm breath kind of moving over my face, and that was the only way I could get some heat. The two other guys that were in my tent, you know, I wasn't really looking to snuggle up or, you know, get too comfortable with them, so I stayed away from that. But it's kind of cool. Just the experience of doing something like that and having to wake up 6-7 times in the night, and your back's hurting, your neck's hurting, and you know, you'd want to sit there and complain about how bad you have it. But the only thing I'd want to add to this story is that when I was in the car on my way over here, I was talking to a guy named Andre, and just to compare a little bit, my bad night of sleeping in a tent, he told me that when he was a little boy, when he was 8, 9, 10 years old, what they have here is unbelievable compared to what they used to have. And just one example was no electricity. Maybe 2 hours a day, maybe 1 hour a day, just depended. In the winter, they had one stove that they would burn charcoal and wood over just to keep themselves warm, so they'd all sleep around it, you know. But that was never really a guarantee. If that fire went out in the middle of the night, you slept there and you froze. Andre once told me that, he went to school and he'd have to wear, winter coats, 2 layers of pants, 2 pairs of socks, a hat, gloves, because they didn't have heating in the schools. So the schools would be outdoor temperatures, without the wind. So it'd be, 30, 20, 10 degrees inside. And, it's just brutal to hear about stuff like that. And, any complaints that I might have during my Peace Corps experience will never touch, some of the experiences they've gone through. And just another experience that Andre gave me, which was, just scary of how poor they were at one point. Right after the SSR broke apart, Moldova became its own republic and pretty much had nothing. They were without anything to, trade, anything to allow for them to get jobs. So they'd have groups of thugs, groups of gangs that would wait for people outside of their homes to beat them up, to take all their money, take all their possessions, enter their homes and steal whatever they'd like. Any families that had parents that were in Italy, Germany, abroad, who sent remittances home, these gangs would enter the houses. They'd keep a list and wait for people outside their houses to, come out or come back from work, and they'd enter the houses. They'd tie the wife or the father, whoever was receiving the money, and they'd take out a hot iron, and they tell them to give them the money, or they would burn them with the hot iron. And in some cases, people were burned, and it's just unimaginable. So with that being said, every time I kind of go through these experiences where I'm meeting new people and trying new things and, being uncomfortable, I always just try to keep in mind, what they've gone through and kind of just keep it in context that, you're lucky to have what you have and you're lucky to be here. And, I'm just so thankful to have this experience from this weekend. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I'll catch you another time.